Next speaker, we have Deputy Pauline Tully.
Good morning to everyone. Thank you very much for coming in. Just to start off, I suppose, with a few questions around the assistance dog. Like, I'm aware of a few people who have an assistance. Well, when I say assistance dog, I'm not sure if an assistance or companion, because I didn't realise there was actually difference between them. But I know the difference that it has made to their lives and the lives of their family. But you say there that 100 dogs are needed to be trained every year. I mean, is that even an underestimation? Because, I mean, we don't even have proper data on the number of people who have autism or disabilities of different types. So I'm just wondering, do people just not apply for an assistance dog because they know there is such a waiting list? As you referred to one woman there who didn't, because she knew she wouldn't get a dog probably for years, or maybe not at all. As well as that, are you the only organisation that train? And do you do that on a national basis? Is the outreach there? Because 500,000 of an ask seems very, very small. And it's something that you would think should easily be met. And while I'm not in government, it would be something that we would look to support. And then St Joseph's Foundation, I'm just wondering how you fund your equine services there, and what kind of numbers are using those services, and is it something that's again offered in many parts of the country by other equestrian centres? And if it's not, is it something that could be offered to people in different areas? It would be something that, is there special training needed around it, or because it sounds like it both do wonders, whether it's with dogs or with horses. So thank you, Chair.
Around the 100 dogs per year. Yeah, again, like, it would come down to the numbers and registered and things like that. But we're going off the number of emails that we get in every day, the number of phone calls that we use. So that's how we kind of work out our numbers. And then when we open the waiting list, we do a webinar. So everybody has to apply for the webinar. So this year, I think we opened the list in August, or the webinar was August, and we had, I think, 300 people attended the webinar. Out of that, then when we actually opened the waiting list, we had 120, I think, actually applied for an assistance dog, because we go through the criteria so they know, like, if they're suitable, if a dog might be suitable for them at that stage. So out of that, then we had 30 places, which is kind of then like a lottery. So we had to do a draw, pick out the names then, so the other 80 people are left, like, without a dog. So yeah, 100 probably is a big underestimation. We're not 100% sure, but that's what we'd like to, I suppose, aim for. There is, like, Guide Dogs for the Blind do also do assistance dogs as well, and like, we both would do it nationally as well. I don't know how many they provide a year. So yeah, it would be good to know.
So just on the numbers, so last year we produced 13,304 sessions in our equine centre. We've got 25 horses. We provide services to 56 schools. When I say schools, I'm talking about the special classes, the special units, the autism special units within in the schools. So it's in 103 classes, because some schools would have maybe two or three different classes. So we take 4 schools every morning. Obviously, schools they finish at around 2 o'clock. So we start at 10, and we have different sessions between 10 and 1 o'clock. So the schools come. When they come for the equine therapy, it's not just coming to the centre, I suppose, to ride horses or to groom horses. It's an experience, and it's it's an experience. So even though they have a session for an hour, they can spend 4 hours. It doesn't matter. There's walk, there's sensory walkways. There's other animals there as well. So it is an experience, so that they have their lunch there. They have music going on. We've drums that they can beat, all of that. So that would be the sessions with the schools. We fund, we obviously have St Joseph's Foundation, residential and day services, but we're also open to other external agencies. Parents can come themselves. We've opened Saturdays, which there's no booking service. So the whole family come with the service for the whole family from 9:30 to 4 o'clock. So not only can the child or the adult with autism can ride and experience the day, the whole family comes. Mum can ride, dad can ride. And we find it is a meeting place. And, so it's a meeting place for the whole family. And it was, for them to meet other families in the same situation or in some similar situation is a real benefit to the family. I'm coming from my own personal experience, as Michael had said, because my own girl is 28 now. And she was diagnosed when she was 4. And she was coming from 3 staff at all times. School, going back, services were maybe poor now, but back then, it was very poor. So she was expelled from most schools, so we ended up in a special school, in St. Joseph's Foundation. But, since then, with the new mainstreaming units, it's been really successful from what we're looking at, and the staff and the teachers and the SNAs are really highly motivated when they come, and we can see the difference. We can see that difference there. She's now, because of, I suppose, equine therapy and other services, and it's not an alternative, you know what I mean? It's an addition, and it just helps. And we work closely with psychology and occupational therapy and physiotherapy, and she now is just sharing a staff member. And if you bring that to a monetary point of view, and this is when we talk about funding, if you have a staff member, 3 staffing at all times, 24/7 is 250,000 per staff per year. That's 750,000, and to save 2 staff, is huge savings. So the cost and benefit analysis, is there. And I'm only talking about her because that's all I've been entitled to talk about here. But we've seen other, obviously, differences there. From a funding point of view, HSE have funded some of our staff. We have 3 staff funded by the HSE. We have one. We get our Saturday funded by alternative respite services. So it is an alternative respite. So that's funding their Saturday, and then we have funding from ETBs, where we get adult education funding. We've 6 days of help, we'll say, from ETBs under the adult programme. We don't get any money for horses, obviously. We don't pay for horses. They're all donated. They're race horses or they're show jumpers or something like that, and they join our programme. It takes about 9 months to join the programme. And the question is, there are other services like us, around. We've just been given, and Michael can follow up on that, permission from the government to open a new service in Kenturk, in Cork. Which will again incorporate not only, it's a model of service that we're promoting, so it's going to be there's going to be 4 children in respite as a respite house there with autism, and there's going to be 4 residential a house for 4 residential children, and they will be people, maybe children on the level 3 that you were talking about with the challenged behaviour, and that's what we excel at, is the people with challenge, or the children with the challenged behaviour. So we've just got permission to start that, and we're hoping to go to planning permission in the next week or 2 on that. We don't get money for horses, so we fund, and we get donations for that. And the schools are great in that we don't get direct money from education, but the schools themselves have their own collections.
We don't charge anybody to use our services. Nobody is charged in St. Joseph's Foundation. We don't charge the schools or the special unit classes when they come. If families wish to make a donation, we'll take that, and that will support us in order to provide the services that are there. But we don't charge people, so most of it comes from the HSE through sports and recreational funding from that we channel towards Liz Kenneth Centre, because the outcomes that we are seeing there, and as David mentioned in relation to cost-benefit analysis, we would have said some element of time-related savings there as well to put into that. But it is very much a unique service that we provide in Liz Kenneth, and as David remarked, we're hoping to replicate that with a children's alternative regional respite, residential and equine therapy centre in Kanturk, hopefully within the next 18 months. Because of the success, and that will create. We have a waiting list at this point in Liz Kenneth, and the hope is that some of the children from that side of Limerick, they'll create more vacancies there, as the people who are travelling from Kerry and Cork will take up placements in Kanturk. We have people literally travelling the length and breadth of the country, and particularly on a Saturday where we have a kind of an open day. You don't have to book in. We have a huge number of volunteers on a Saturday. We could have 10 volunteers any Saturday providing 55, 60 sessions, and those volunteers work throughout the week. And many of them, to their credit, are retired employees of St. Joseph's Foundation who just, Liz Kenneth is a special place. And it is a special place in many of their hearts, and that's why one of them said to me, it's easy for him to go back there. He enjoys it. He gets something very worthwhile, very fulfilling himself out of it, even after spending a whole career working in the service. So that in itself speaks for itself, Deputy Tony. Can I just refer to a question that you had directed to Senator, to Dr. Coughlin here a number of minutes ago in relation to the Register for Autism? That should be very easy to do, because under the Disability Act 2005, most people who are diagnosed nowadays come through the assessment of need process. The figures are there, and I don't think it would take too much time or effort to be able to create that register for this committee or for the Department of Health to be able to use. So that's just my take on that. Thank you both.
Thank you.